Hi, welcome. This is the second attempt at doing a live webcast, live streaming show for Boinx software on my computer here. And we're still a little bit experimenting today. Last week we had Achim show you a new feature in mimoLive. This week, I don't know. Achim is on holiday, so I have to do it all myself. Let's see how that goes. I've prepared a little clip for you with another trick, tips and tricks thing, and you can ask questions in the comments, and I will try to answer them. Hi Carlos, if you are in the stream, just say hi in the comments so I can see that you're there, and we'll talk about your questions later. So right now I'm trying to dive into this. There's a lot of people using mimoLive, and I love that, using mimoLive to drive a projection at events for like a stage, magnifying the speaker or presentation, or showing the presentations. And the benefit of using mimoLive for that is, of course, that you have a lot of things you can do with the screen while the presentation is not going on, like fillers between, two sessions, and you can provide a really clean experience for the audience without dropping out the embarrassing thing you see sometimes when people work on their computers and the screen goes blank, or you see the Windows desktop before they have their PowerPoints up and running. This is not happening with mimoLive, but there's one nagging little thing. If you use a Mac to use the second screen for the projector and the first screen to run mimoLive on, and this, you play out to the second screen, so you get a full screen playout. One nagging little thing is when should mimoLive crash, or if you're in between setting up mimoLive, and you may see the desktop. And we have two tricks for you, and I'm going to run the video that we've previously recorded, and let me know what you think. Hi. Today I'm going to show you a little trick that people can use who are using mimoLive to drive a projector in a presentation on a stage. Here you see the second screen of my Mac. You can see the user interface elements of the Mac operating system, like the menu bar or the dock. Of course, we don't want to see those in the presentation. For example, when I'm setting stuff up, or and mimoLive is not running yet, or when mimoLive crashes, I want to show something that is a more branded message to the audience. There are two things you can do to provide your audience with a much better experience. So let's go to the system preferences and find the desktop and screensaver settings. Here I can define a separate background image for my second screen. I've prepared this background image that has the message "We will be right back" for the audience, and tells them that there's gonna be new content soon. For the second trick, we go back to the preference panel and find the mission control section. Here you can turn off displays have separate spaces, and that will remove the menu bar and the dock from the second screen. For this change to go into effect, I will have to log out and log in again. So after having logged in again, I can see a nice clean image on my second screen. There is no menu bar and no dock. And when I'm configuring my computer, the audience will see this nice image. This is a very useful trick for people using mimoLive to do stage projections. Thank you for watching. All right, I hope you like this little trick, and let me know in the comments if you have any questions regarding mimoLive 4 or this, how to use it on a stage projection. I see Carlos has questions there, but I don't see any more questions. So, and it's not a question, it's a comment. Hi, Carlos. We love you having you on the show. I hope people. We've not done the announcement, so I just more or less jumped on the live stream here, and did this, you know, off of the seats of my pants. So I hope we'll be able to do a lot more of those and get better over time, and hopefully gain a lot of viewers. And for this time, next Monday, we're not gonna have. There's a public holiday in Germany. We've got lots of those, so I'm not gonna be on. And the Monday after that, we are gonna be live streaming from NAB, and hopefully see some of you there at NAB. We are on booth south in the South Lower Hall, booth 5516. That's the NDI Pavilion, a booth put together by the nice folks from NewTek, promoting their NDI protocol, and we are gonna show how well mimoLive plays with NDI, and what the big advantages are for video producers using mimoLive in an NDI environment, or using NDI sources with mimoLive. You don't have to have a lot of hardware, just your Mac connected to an Ethernet network, and that also already gives you a lot of great video sources, cameras, screen grabs, and basically a lot of fun stuff. So Benjamin, hi, just a quick call out, and thank you for jumping in and watching, and also for commenting. Folks, if you don't have more questions and more comments, then I think I wrap it up for today. This is just a very quick live stream, one tip, one trick, and answering questions. Carlos has a question, and I'm happy to answer that. Is NDI available for private? Beginning with mimoLive 4, NDI is available on all license tiers. We think that NDI is a great way to get video sources into mimoLive, and so we have to support it for all our customers. NDI is an essential part of mimoLive moving forward, and so it doesn't make sense to have only a couple of users be able to use it. All right. This is exciting, and this is also, by the way, the new feature, mimoLive 4 feature, that allows me to bring in comments. I have a nice little window where I can see all the comments coming in, and then I can just click on the live button and have them show up in the live stream. Another one of the very nice features for social media integration in mimoLive. All right. If you have more questions, Carlos, you're on a roll today. Thank you for the questions. Will Reporter have NDI? We are working on that. mimoLive Reporter is the iOS app for basically bringing remote reporters. That's why it's called reporters. Also remote people with an iPhone into your mimoLive production, so you can send someone with an iPhone out into the field, interviewing people, eyewitness reports and stuff like that, and send it back into your mimoLive over the internet. So it works wherever your iPhone has an LTE connection, or any other kind of internet connection, and it will find the way back to your mimoLive on the Mac, and you will have instantly someone connected. And the magic behind that is called mimoCall, and mimoLive Reporter is basically the premier mimoCall client for iOS. mimoLive Reporter we're working on NDI for mimoLive Reporter, so you can also use the app in the studio on your local network, streaming NDI to mimoLive. Benjamin says, love seeing the comments on screen. Yes, I do. Thank you very much for that. Camel Hyder, which Wi-Fi do you recommend for NDI? NDI, there's two flavors. One is called NDI and the other one is called NDI HX. And HX is basically a high efficiently version that requires, I think, around 10 megabits. So it works quite well over Wi-Fi. I recommend professional Wi-Fi equipment. We do have good experience with Unify networks. Access points work quite well. I would use 5 gigahertz, so you don't have a lot of interference from many other networks. Carlos says Wi-Fi needs to be 1 gigabyte for NDI. That is not what I. That's not what I. That's not my latest information. And also, we've tried with the mimoLive and with the NDI NewTek NDI app on the iPhone. And that works quite well over Wi-Fi, and it does not require the full bandwidth. We can actually do more than one of those over the Wi-Fi. Franz Otto Nowotny, is NDI over network as reliable as an SDI cable? The answer to that, of course, is no. Nothing is as reliable as SDI, but you can do a lot for NDI to be fairly stable and very stable, actually. So if you use a dedicated network like a gigabit network that is dedicated to your cameras and your Mac, it works. I haven't experienced any problems yet. We had problems when using NDI over a corporate network where a lot of servers, a lot of traffic was interfering with our NDI transmissions. So you have to be careful about that. But I think other than that, for certain classes of applications, like in a church or in a lower end broadcasting environment, I think it's fairly safe to replace your SDI cables with NDI. I would not do that in a high exposure environment, broadcasting for a major corporation, but for schools, for higher education, for event recording, for live streaming an event or something like that, NDI is quite good enough. All right. Any more comments I can take on? I love this. It's really a cool new feature of mimoLive to be able to see all your comments and then be able to pull them up in the live stream and talk to you about those things. Keep them coming. All right. I know the live stream is a little delayed, so we have like I think about 30 seconds maybe delay due to the fact that we ingest our live stream into Facebook or YouTube, and they re-encode it, and that takes a little time to prepare it for streaming out again. All right, but I guess no more comments coming in. Oh yeah, there's another one coming in here. Yeah, yeah, you're welcome. Thank you for tuning in. I'm excited to be doing this and hopefully be doing it more over the year and getting better at it. So that's, you know, eat your own dog food is one of the things we like to do at Boinx Software, and I've not been doing that enough, and I will certainly rectify this oversight. Carlos question: How do you get the Facebook comments and the YouTube comments on screen? There's a nice tutorial video on the YouTube page, and also I think it's on Facebook. Quick tutorial on how to use the single comment, the comments layer, which is doing all the magic. How do I display the comments coming in? A lot of questions coming in now. Good. So one after the other. So how do you display the comments that come in? mimoLive 4 has a new feature that grabs the comments off of the live streams, Facebook or YouTube, and allows you to pull them in. There's a new layer called single comment. We also have a comments layer that displays all the comments in like a floating graphics thing here. But I can use the UI to highlight the one I'm talking about, and that will show up in the live stream. As I said, there's a tutorial on YouTube and on the mimoLive docs page that explains how to set it up. Does it work for every live stream platform? I assume you mean the comments feature works for every live stream platform. Right now we support Facebook and YouTube. We can also do Twitter, although Twitter doesn't do live streaming yet. So you can tweet to a certain hashtag or whatever, and we can pull that in and show the tweets. So we can do a Twitter wall kind of setup. And we can also do Twitch chat. Display the Twitch chat. However, that is a different kind of setup where you see just basically all the Twitch comments come in, Twitch chat messages come in, and you don't just get to pick one or the other. But we will certainly expand this feature to other platforms with other comments, and we'll also try to make it so that it does not only be able to fetch comments from destinations you stream to, so that you can use the feature independently of the streaming to the platform. Next question. When will Instagram streaming work? Yeah, well, if Instagram provides a RTMP based ingest, then we can tackle that issue. I don't know of any such thing as of now. I don't know of any plans doing that. I assume that they want to keep it sort of closed for now. Maybe we'll see a similar rollout to what they did in Facebook, that they give access to that feature to a couple of people first and then later on roll it out for everybody. I don't know. We will certainly want to keep an eye on if that happens, to be able to support it. All right. We need a shortcut button for the comments. I don't really know what that means. The problem is, of course, that we need to specify what comments you want to show. So you will always have to, you know, go to the specific comment and press the button. If you can, maybe you can post in the comments more detailed description of what you want us to do, and how we can make this even better. Johannes, thanks for tuning in. Can you please post the tutorial video again? I cannot find it. Yes, I will put that into the comments when I'm done. It's on YouTube, and I'm sure you can find it in the mimoLive docs. If you go to the, I think it's the it's in the layers section, and there's a section called comments, and there's the tutorial also. Franz, in your experience, is streaming from mimoLive directly from a Mac as reliable as a dedicated encoder such as Video Pro, for example? Of course, I can only say yes. We do stream to YouTube and Facebook and other streaming services, and it works very reliably. We can do, with mimoLive 4, we can do multicasting to various streaming services at the same time. I'm doing that up right now, and I don't have any issues other than that my internet connection is not the very best, the very biggest pipe, and so sometimes I have a couple of drop frames because you know, the bandwidth is at a limit. Other than that, we have some customers doing 24/7 streams with mimoLive, and they're not using any additional encoders, so that should be working. Of course, it's software. Anything can go wrong. If you absolutely 100% have to have a signal, I recommend using a hardware dedicated encoder. Carlos, Twitter just added producer capabilities. Yes, I heard about that. We'll take a look and see how we can interface with that. That a platform provides streaming is not always the same as, you know, providing an API for third-party apps such as mimoLive. If that becomes available, we'll certainly be supporting that. Johannes, can we have an iframe and web control for this comments layer? You mean on the remote control surface, you want to see the comments? That is a very good idea. We are currently thinking about how to solve this problem. What you want to do is you want to be able to have the comments show up on the remote control surface, which you can have on an iPad, and you want to be able to pick the comments there like you can now do on the on the screen of your Mac, and then have more be more comfortable using this. And that's going to be certainly something we are going to add at the future date. Cross Radio. Hi, please can you make a video on how audio video syncing works? Excuse me. I'm not sure I understand what you mean, but let me take a guess here. You may have a video coming in and an audio from a microphone, and the video may be delayed for some reason, and the audio is not. And it's actually quite easy to do that. You go to the you first make a dedicated source for the audio, and then in the setup for the audio source you can actually input a delay, and you can either sort of get some measurement system, or you can just clap your hands and see until you get it synchronized. But it's a good suggestion. I'm certainly gonna take that note, and maybe we can find some resources to make a video tutorial on that. Claudio Cohn, any updates on web page as a source? Usually I'm reluctant to make announcements like this. In this case, I know that it's going to be in 4.1, and I know this because we are just putting the finishing touches on it, and it will be then available to everybody as soon as that 4.1 ships. Cross Radio, yes, welcome. If you have more questions, just go to our forums at boinx.com/forum and just post your questions there, and we will try to answer them as soon as possible, or post them here in the comments, and I will try to answer all your questions. Hey, this is fun because more questions coming in. I like that. Franz Otto Nowotny, do you know of a way to mitigate potential streaming problems to one network connection with mimoLive? I understand that something called bonding might be involved. So in mimoLive, we don't support any technology that uses different transmission methods to get data to the servers. So if you want to use that, I recommend to use a third-party hardware solution like LiveView or anything comparable. mimoLive just outputs one stream, and we don't support distributing the stream over several different transmission ways, and that's basically what bonding is. Bonding is using different internet connections from different sources, like cable, like LTE, more than one LTE, more than one LTE provider, so that you use maybe different cell towers to transmit your signal, and that gives you a better bandwidth over, in situations where a lot of people use the cell towers at the same time, because you only get a small slice of each connection, but if you bond them together, you get the same output, or a bigger bandwidth to output. This is beyond the scope of mimoLive. mimoLive assumes that there's an internet connection. How you provide the interconnection, how you provide high bandwidth to that interconnection, or enough bandwidth, is basically something that's outside of mimoLive and can also be outside of mimoLive, because that's the beauty of the TCP/IP protocol stack. We can safely use just the top level, and someone else will take care of the nitty-gritty details, the hard stuff, the tough stuff that's underneath, and that is basically a very niche thing. All right. Hi, Anthony. If you have a question, post it in the comments and I will be able to answer them. Just for the fun of it, I'd like to see if I can make out Anthony Mosby's avatar. Yes, so this question came in from Facebook. So let me see if I can pull another one in and see. Carlos. Oh yeah, that's from YouTube. So yeah, I just wanted to check that our test environment works here. So, all right, any more questions? Keep them coming. If not, then I will just reiterate that we're gonna be at NAB in 2 weeks' time. I would be very excited about being there. We are going to be at the NDI booth, NDI Pavilion booth SL5516. So if you are there, drop by and say hi. We will also bring some equipment to stream from the show floor and maybe do a wrap up or answer the questions that we had asked by visitors. And hi, Jose, nice to see you. I hope I did not entirely bungle your name, Jose, I think. I hope. So more questions coming in now. I love doing this. Johannes, is it possible to fake cam anything to Instagram? No, not that I know of. There's not even a way to post anything to Instagram outside of the Instagram apps. And in order to get something into the Instagram apps, you have to use the Instagram app. I'm not sure if they're gonna be opening up their live streaming. It's certainly would be good for them, because a lot of high quality content needs software like mimoLive to be able, people need software like mimoLive to create high quality, high production value content, and I'm sure Instagram wants that. They don't just want the shaky iPhone videos, live streams. They want really good live stream content, and so I'm fairly confident that that will happen. But I have no idea if it does and when it does. All right, Franz. Yeah, well, you're welcome. I hope I'm not. I'm explaining it in a way that is somehow understandable, and yeah. Jose, any chance to route the siphon layer to SDI playout in order to have an aux video output? Yes, actually that is possible. Not in one document, but you can have a second document. You can open a second document, and in the second document, you just take a siphon source and play it out to SDI. And so that's one way to take an arbitrary level in the layer and just pipe it out to an SDI playout. very interesting use case, and it's possible to do that. However, not in one document. You have to have a second document. All right. I hope we're getting a couple of more questions, or I get to cook my dinner and call it a day. As you can see outside, it's dark in outside my office, and it's a home office, so it's soon. I'm gonna call it a day. All right. No more questions. Oh yeah, there's one. Is it Carlos? Is it possible to stream in portrait? Yes, it is possible to stream in portrait. We've done that actually a couple of times with Facebook, and they accept the portrait stream, and you can set that up. You have to create a document that is in portrait, and then create a streaming destination with the same dimensions, and that's basically it. That is a very interesting question, because it highlights what the strengths of mimoLive are. The strength is that you're not restricted to certain preset dimensions. You can basically do square, you can do 3x2, you can do 4x3, you can do 16x9 streams, and you can also do streams. I think we have a minimum height of, I think, 400 pixels or something like that, but basically you can do 4000 by 400 streams or videos. And also one other neat trick is you can use mimoLive to record ProRes 4:4:4, and that gives you a transparent video. So if you want to do quick lower thirds for your post-production, you know, just drag them into a document, turn off the background camera, and save it to ProRes 4:4:4, and you will have a transparent video that you can take into Final Cut or Premiere and use that there for overlaying over your existing video. Franz, any plans for a talkback feature? With the talkback feature, you mean that I can talk to operators in the studio, having a headset on their cameras. We are actually thinking about how to do that. One of the big points we have is that we don't want mimoLive to become unusable for someone who doesn't have a technology degree. So we have to be very careful about adding features like that, so that we don't do it in a way where, you know, it makes mimoLive much more complicated to use. And so it's a kind of it's gonna be happening someday. And also one other issue is that there is no standard way to provide the talkback to the people at the cameras. Like if you use a Blackmagic camera, you have to run one SDI cable to the camera and one from the camera, so it's two cameras. NDI will certainly have better integration for talkback, and it's much easier to do talkback over the network. We will build in talkback fairly soon for the Mimo call source, because it turns out the operator may want to talk to callers before they go on air, and you know, to help them set up their microphones and things like that. So we're doing we're addressing that and hopefully soon, and that's the talkback plans. All right, Esteban. Thank you for using mimoLive. Just to read your for the audience, I just started to use mimoLive in live from France. I have difficulty to add a second camera, 2 cameras. It's probably best if you write to support@boinx.com or you post your question in the support form, because I think that is a more that requires more dialogue between us. That is probably not as relevant to other users. Just to put your mind to rest, we have been using 7 cameras with mimoLive. Depending, of course, on how you connect them, it's what computer you're connecting them to. So if you, for example, have a MacBook Pro, 13-inch MacBook Pro, and you want to have 2 video sources through the Blackmagic design hardware, you could run into the problem that the power supply for the Thunderbolt 3 ports is not sufficient to drive the adapters you need. But there's solutions for that, and I'll be happy to address them, your specific problem, in the forums. All right. Johannes. Idea talkback could be realized with DAW channels. So as soon as mimoLive can output to a special channel, not just the device, this could work. I'm not sure how you mean this, but I think it will be much easier than that. For example, there are solutions out there that use iPhones or iOS devices that you just tether in a way. You run an application on the iPhone, and they work as walkie-talkies. Something like that, maybe easier than DAW. Jose, any plans to add a camera tally light? So if you use Blackmagic cameras and you run the second cable back from mimoLive to the camera, it already works with the tally light. Also, if you use an NDI camera, the NDI camera also already gets the tally light information. Tally lights is sneaking in to mimoLive. We still have some issues with it because it's not easy sometimes to see what camera is actually live and what's actually on the screen. So sometimes you might have 2 layers with different cameras active on top of each other, and you don't know which one is the top one. That is one of the major issues. Other than that, we already the multi-views, the new multi-views in mimoLive 4 already display the tally light, so to say. You can see the red frame around the cameras that are visible on screen and active, and that is certainly the way to go forward, with that. So Ben Todman, is it possible to do Facebook comments on an existing custom post rather than just the live stream comments? I think yes, no. Right now, comments are tied to the streaming destination. There is a technical reason for that. We are, of course, aware that this is not the perfect solution, because you might want to do the comments on a computer that doesn't do the live stream, and the live stream goes out through some hardware device somewhere, and you might want to just connect to the post. We are investigating right now how to do that. There is currently, for example, there is a big discussion about privacy on Facebook, and it's, you know, the general wisdom is that an external app gets access to all your data, and that is just not true. We had to go through a review process with Facebook to get access to certain information, and if we want to add more information, if we want to access other kinds of information such as the posts, comments and posts on a user's page, we have to go through the review process again, and last time we got rejected. To do that, we just have to work out with Facebook how to be able to do that, and also, you know, the engineering that is required to find the post and the comments belonging to that post is more difficult than to just take the streaming destination, and that's why it's going to take a little while to get this done, but it's on the roadmap, definitely. All right, more questions. Jose, how many live streams are you performing right now? Can you describe your hardware, and have your stream lost frames? So I'm doing 2 streams right now. It's a MacBook Pro 15-inch machine. It's idling along quite nicely right now because with 10.13, macOS 10.13, Apple flipped a magical switch, and we can now have more than one hardware stream encoded by the hardware. So I'm actually doing 3 streams encoding right now because I also record to the disk in H.264. So I've got one stream. I've got 2 H.264 streams and one going to my hard drive. 3 encoding streams, and the machine is quite idle. I'm dropping frames from time to time, but that's due to the bandwidth of my internet connection. I do have a very measly DSL line here, and only about a maximum of 5 to 6 megabits per second outgoing. And if I do 2 streams at 1.5 megabits each, that's 3 megabits. But since the 6 megabits is just a theoretical value averaged over time, sometimes the data doesn't get sent out quickly enough. The hardware, the encoding is not the problem. The problem is the bandwidth streaming out. All right. Well, this is fun. I'm way over the time I was thinking to do this. We're now at about 50 minutes instead of the planned 15. But I'm happy to answer any questions you throw at me. Yes, just keep them coming. I know that the stream has a latency because we stream out to the ingest point of our streaming services, and they re-encode the stream, and before you get to see it, it's probably 15 seconds, 15 to 20 seconds delayed. So I have to stall a little bit to give you the chance to post more comments and more questions, and for them to show up in my UI here. Right now, this doesn't seem like there's more questions coming, but all the time, if I say I'm gonna finish this now, there's more questions coming in. No more questions. Jose, you're welcome. Right, so just once more, my lower third here, and also you know, thank you for watching. Again, we are exhibiting, and next Monday is not going to be, I'm not going to be doing a stream next Monday because There's a public holiday in Germany. We are doing a stream maybe on Tuesday next week, if we can pull it together somehow, but we're going to be very busy preparing our trip to NAB, and we're going to be live from NAB show floor on Monday, and doing a stream there, and hopefully see you guys at NAB in person or in the streams. And that's it for today. Thank you for joining me, and I hope you have a great day, and see you again next time.